Seattle.
But first, Seattle's new socialist mayor, Katie Wilson, in the hot
We love Katie Wilson.
seat after a horrific video of a 77-year-old man severely beaten in downtown Seattle goes viral. She's facing heavy scrutiny after freezing the city's expansion of surveillance cameras, the same type of cameras that helped police catch those attackers.
I see the angle they're going for. She doesn't want as much government surveillance. And they're like, no, we need it because we need to catch black people.
Her reason for pausing these surveillance cams? To protect the privacy of immigrants.
And just, regular citizens.
This is Outnumbered. I'm Emily Campagno here with my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany.
Gosh, she's so fucking ugly.
And also joining us today, Kennedy, host of the Kennedy Saves the World podcast, and Josh Ritter, former prosecutor, criminal
He looks like he has a fucking thumb forehead.
defense attorney, Fox News contributor, and co-host of the weekly Rap Sheet on Fox Nation. Now, we have to warn you, please, the footage we're about to show is incredibly graphic. You can see here that elderly man walking down the street, then being shoved to the ground. The victim was hospitalized for a week, having...
Hold on. Seattle elderly man attacked. An unprovoked attack in downtown. Clueless socialist mayor in hot seat. 2 arrested after violent attacks. Tip leads to arrest of second suspect on the attack. 2 men beat 77-year-old in unprovoked downtown. Okay. Why the fuck did they beat the guy? People don't just do shit for no reason like this. The other suspect, Ahmed Abduli Osman, was arrested on the night April 19th. It looks like based on the King County prosecutor's statement, the case referral wasn't received from SDB. Just coming to say, mods, please don't delete this. Whatever. Unless these guys just did it because they're insane. But wait, were they already arrested? Public records request for that the case was a referral. I haven't been able to figure out what happened with the release. Anyone know? Oh, they were already released? The other suspect, Ahmed Abduli Osman, 29, was arrested the night of April 19th attack and later released from custody without bail. He now has a warrant out for his arrest. So he was released? Like right after this? What the fuck?
A broken arm, a broken knee, and many facial injuries.
Oh, you don't give a fuck.
One suspect was arrested and charged with second-degree assault.
Did they just...
and jail.
Did they assault him just to steal from him?
Sheet on you can see is incredibly graphic. You can see here that elderly man walking down the street, then being shoved to the ground.
Ice, crazy chodi olodi. Masir, I do not know what language, beautiful language you're speaking. Hold on. Oh, Polish? I gotta type something back in Polish. Hold on. I recently had ice cream. I recently had a caramel magnum. It was very good. No. Ice like the evil police from the US. Hopefully this makes sense to you. I'm doing some rough translations here. Sorry, I would buy it for you. Also, I do not speak Polish, only English. Trying my best here. Dude, I don't even know if this is Polish. This was just Google told me. Now I understand everything. Okay.
The victim was hospitalized for a week, having a broken arm, a broken knee, and many facial injuries.
We can always talk with British Imperial language, don't worry. Monsieur, you're not wrong.
One suspect was arrested and charged with second-degree assault and jailed on the night of the assault. Watch.
You know Katie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know Katie.
The mayor.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. That's my last word.
Okay, wait, what the fuck? That's so suspicious. What?
He was released on bail 2 days after his arrest and is now currently wanted on a $200,000 warrant. Officers are actively searching for him. A second suspect was later arrested by police in nearby Redmond.
That's so suspicious, dude. What the fuck? All I'm gonna say is Katie Hochul. That icing should be in Europe. I gotta say we will win in some way or another, brother. Don't worry. Huh? Are you a fan of racism? I can't tell if you're a fan of racism or not. Do I have to ban you?
His arrest came after a caller reported that they recognized him from news coverage of the incident. The Redmond, Washington chief of police is touting the use of technology at nabbing their suspects, saying this arrest is the direct result of strong collaboration between agencies and the vigilance of our community. By combining real-time technology with focused investigative work, we are able to identify suspects quickly.
Ban and different opinion, what a communist thing to say. Ah, see you later. You're just annoying and I don't want to deal with you. That's why. Not because I disagree with you. Your just opinion's just wrong and racism's annoying as fuck. Bye-bye. No! Fuck!
Protect, I'm not quite sure, and hold violent offenders accountable. Last week, Mayor Wilson was asked about rolling back these cameras, but her team interrupted.
People in that community who are concerned that there's been rising gun violence and that there should be more surveillance cameras and that kind of thing. That's obviously been an issue that you weighed in on. Does that change it? Does that change your perspective at all?
Let's keep it on. Yeah, let's keep it on. Thanks.
But does that change your perspective at all on the issue of surveillance cameras based on what you went through on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Appreciate it, but let's keep it on topic.
Okay, so she was asked about an off topic. I think it would have been okay for her to respond, like have a genuine response here.
I believe that
Unless she was like on a time crunch.
CCTV cameras have an important role to play in our public safety system, and we also have to be very careful to make sure that our data storage, security, sharing practices don't make that system vulnerable to misuse and abuse, whether that's by federal immigration enforcement or by other.
Okay, so she doesn't want and I don't really know everything about this, but basically taking off everything I'm reading on my right-hand monitor and everything that I'm hearing from her right now is that, because I know crime is a high property crime state or city, but I think she's more so worried about ICE using their security systems to detain immigrants, which is completely justified.
Bad actors.
Josh, the only use and abuse I saw were those two wastes of flesh that attacked an elderly man. And when she talks about who they are trying to protect, I'm not quite sure why protection of her constituents isn't A, a priority, or B, on the agenda, as her staff said.
Yeah, this is untethered progressive policy.
It was. What's up, Chloe? It was on the agenda. She just talked about it.
Politics, but it's also incredibly dangerous for the reasons that you just point out. She's talking about trying to protect vulnerable communities. Well, where do you think this crime is taking place? Where do you think they're putting these cameras to try to protect these people? She talks about how
in white communities.
She's worried about these cameras exploiting those communities. We have no evidence of that. This is just her.
We do. We have evidence of ICE using security cameras to detain people. We absolutely do.
What we do have evidence of, though, is them solving crimes by use of these cameras. These cameras are not being placed in some sort of quiet residential neighborhood where they're spying on people. They're being placed in high crime areas. The name of the McDonald's where this took place has been nicknamed by that local community as McStabbies. That's what they're trying to protect people from, these vulnerable communities that she's so concerned with. That's what they're having to deal with, and that's why these cameras are so important.
Kennedy, you and I both lived in Seattle for many years, and it personally just...
I used to go to the gym right around the corner from there.
Nice. Did you hang out at McStabbies?
Shut the fuck up.
I did. That's how it got the name.
It
Because
breaks
you
my
stab
heart
your
to
face with Botox.
see how quickly the downward spiral has occurred and how clearly the vulnerable, the residents there.
Seattle's always been a high crime city, and this is a problem across the United States. And Democrats need to do a better job about this.
The elderly, the underserved
well.
communities that these talking heads on the city council and the mayors, the succession of mayors, have sort of purported to represent, but anything but is actually protecting them. We have seen horrific crimes. Remember the dog walker that when carjacking got killed under the wheel, she was run over in addition to the dogs in front of all of the neighborhood, but that was a crime of poverty. I mean, it's sickening to see how they treat the crimes there.
Yeah, and that's my problem with her is the why.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with her on the what. And this is one of the few intersections where civil libertarians and progressives kind of agree, and that is keeping the surveillance state in check. And I don't disagree with the notion that we have to have safeguards on things that can exploit people's privacies.
You don't give a fucking
my worry
shit.
is if we have surveillance tools, they will be exploited. They'll be exploited by private companies if the government decides to sell information. And, you also have to always question who has access to this information. Those are important things to discuss. But her why is...
Him saying Kathy Hochul right there is so fucking sus. Poco, that was Polish person came into chat and surprise, was being racist.
Who she's protecting. And that's the problem that I have, coming from the Pacific Northwest, like you, is we have these once livable, wonderful cities, and now there are parts of the towns that no longer exist like they do in...
Still beautiful and livable cities, by the way. Seattle is like a gorgeous city. Yes, it has a high crime rate, but so does every city in the U.S., specifically in red states, which is the worst.
Our pristine memories because they are cesspools of crime and drugs.
But yes, the U.S. cities have a problem with crime. But it's not a Democrat thing or a Republican thing. It's kind of a U.S. thing, and it's mostly a Republican thing. But like, crime is lower in Democrat cities than in Republican cities. But like, cities in the U.S. are not nearly as well taken care of as cities in Europe and like Asia.
Drug use and mental
Even in the Middle East.
illness.
If obviously barring any like wars, like I because my head immediately went to Iran, but like cities in the Middle East are beautiful.
And it seems like her why is protecting people like that instead of the citizens who want to open businesses and want to thrive. But places like Seattle, Portland, and San Francisco are quickly becoming ghost towns because of...
Quickly becoming ghost towns. I'm pretty sure Seattle's at a high. Seattle population 800,000, 2.4% growth. Top 5 fastest growing major U.S. cities.
Progressive people like her. She's known as a faculty brat because her parents are academics. She has no real world experience.
Says you. Her real world experience is going from city to city completely, basically free of charge because she has so much money, it doesn't matter.
And this is what happens when you have to make tough decisions.
And she's surrounded by, Kaylee, a team that is sort of protecting her from answering those tough or just common sense questions.
She fucking answered it!
And I have to note the irony here. We've talked about this a lot on the couch. But for all of the people that have their cell phones, that are tracking their every movement and tracking their every purchase, it's so rich to me that all of a sudden, the rich people from Bainbridge and the San Juans and Seattle that get to live behind their fences, that are advocating for this, but have no...
She's talking about downtown Seattle, advocating for this, saying like, hey, we need to make sure that we don't sell our information to ICE or give our information to ICE. Yeah,
no
bro.
problem getting
Whatever.
tracked every hour of every minute of every day on their phone, but somehow the cameras in poor districts
Both their fucking problems, dipshit.
are the issue.
That's right. Katie Wilson, the socialist.
God, this is what your fucking grandparents watch, dude. This shit's so fucking frustrating. Oh my God, it's beyond frustrating.
Mayor of Seattle. Let's remember her predecessor, Jenny Durkan. Yeah. Jenny Durkan was in Seattle during the so-called and self-described Summer of Love. I remember this vividly. Standing at the podium, you'd look over at Seattle, and they had this CHOP zone, and then they changed the name to the Chaz zone. It was the autonomous zone where people could live their wildest free liberal dreams. Well, what happened was this. A 16-year-old was killed. A 19-year-old was killed. Because guess what? Autonomous...
misrepresenting the entire incidence of.
Miss zones do not work. Cameras do work. Okay, and she knows that full well because she's smart. And I say that because she went to Oxford.
Cameras do not work. They are barely deterrent for crime. The crime that was caught here was on camera. It didn't deter the crime from happening.
She knows facts. She can look at facts and obtain facts. She's choosing to ignore the facts. Cameras work. But this is a trend we are seeing in liberal jurisdictions across the country. She cites privacy as a concern.
Let me do a quick top 10 crime rate USA cities. All right. Memphis, Detroit. Okay. Let's do top 25 most dangerous people to live. Memphis, Tennessee, red. Oakland, California, blue. St. Louis, Missouri, red. Baltimore, Maryland, blue. Detroit, Michigan, blue. Louisiana, blue. Or red. Sorry, Alexandria, Louisiana, red. Cleveland, Ohio, red. Well, if we're talking about Cleveland itself, but I'm talking about the state itself as well. New Orleans, red. Monroe, red. Pueblo, Colorado, red. Little Rock, red. Anniston, red. Myrtle Beach, red. Tacoma, blue. Birmingham, red. Atlantic City, blue. So it's a lot more red here than blue.
It made me immediately think about the so-called Stop Nick Shirley Act. What is that all about? It's about not stopping the
She keeps looking at the camera and it's fucking weird.
fraudsters, stopping the journalists who are finding the information, protecting the privacy of the fraudsters. That was just 2 weeks ago. And then you look over to Ann Arbor, Michigan, where they had the brilliant idea, liberalism, let's take down the neighborhood watch signs because it's not about protecting the citizens, it's about protecting the criminals. This is liberal ideology at its core.
Oh my God, dude. This is why this is why white people are so afraid to go into cities. They literally think you're going to be murdered. They watch this shit on the daily. Holy fucking shit.
Safety of the American citizens, the taxpayer dollars of the American citizens when it pertains to fraud must surrender to the woke ideology. But it is time for voters to stand up and say, no woke ideology. It doesn't work. The facts are there. We categorically dismiss this.
And Harris, may I just point out that that led to a multi-million-dollar settlement by the city paid to that individual, that poor miner's family, because they were derelict in their duty of protecting him and didn't let emergency vehicles through and 911 calls went unanswered, et cetera, et cetera. So the case study that you laid out resulted in the city having accountability for it. So what's going to happen here? Is the 77-year-old man's family going to sue them and then, yes, they're going to win and then they're just going to pay?
If a 77-year-old man out after dark is not in a protected class, how is it that that happens?
He is. The crime happened because crime happened, unfortunately, and it was caught on camera. The camera didn't prevent the crime.
Okay? I mean, if you're telling me that you wouldn't protect him over whomever the people are on the sidewalk.
He was protected anyways. The crime happened, and the guys got away, basically, and then they were released right after. And one still has a warrant out for his arrest. So what did the camera do here? Those guys probably would have been arrested anyways. There was plenty of eyewitnesses in the area.
How is it? And by the way, what cases would we have right now against Luigi Mangione and others? The White House Correspondents' Dinner and all that footage.
Luigi Mangione was caught not because of a camera at all.
That we have leading up to the crime. Where would we be without cameras? We're thankful for those. And by the way, police officers with their cams on them, their body cams.
Yes. Completely different from security cameras being used to collect data on citizens.
Squad cars, all of that. We have pretty much agreed as a public, both sides of the political aisle, that we're willing to spend our tax dollars, as you pointed out, Kaylee, to making the rest of us safe so we can capture some of that. Did she ever say illegal immigrants? Like, who is she trying to protect here? She just said the immigrant community. Which immigrant community is under threat? Because the last
ones
I checked,
that you're,
those in Minnesota.
The ones that you want killed by ICE officers, ma'am.
That were really, really pressing were American citizens. I mean, those protesters were really pressing because some of them were committing crimes. They were violent. So,
God, I can't watch any more of this shit, dude. It gives me a fucking goddamn brain hemorrhage. It makes me so beyond angry. This is beyond frustrating to even watch because, like, this is what your fucking grandparents watch, and this is why they're so afraid of fucking cities. And yes, do U.S. cities have a crime problem? Absolutely, they do. Is it all black and brown people? No! Fuck, man.